here, I swear. Anyway, how is everybody doing today? I'm actually showing my screen today. Wow. God, I swear, I've been streaming for fucking 4 years, man. Anyway, how is everybody doing? Doing good, doing fine, doing dandy, having fun. We're about to have a whole lot of fun, too. My dog is accompanying me on this stream. So every now and again you might hear choking. He's an old man, he doesn't know how to breathe anymore. Anyway. Trying to get my setup back to where it should be. Alright, let's get right into it. The sing-songy chirping of a group of small blue birds on your windowsill woke you up from your sleep. You sat up and yawned, stretching out your shoulders with a pop. I'm sure that's not meant to pop. Rubbing your blurry eyes, memories of last night suddenly resurfaced. Filled with alarm, you searched around the book. You searched out the book you'd found and noticed that there was nothing on your table anymore. Was that all a dream? God, I need to stop watching TV or something. Abruptly, a book fell onto your lap as if someone had dropped it, a very familiar leather-bound book. Does this place have a second ghost or something? Absent-mindedly, you began to flick through the pages, but instead of being greeted with a journal like you expected, you found strange, intricate drawings, almost like sigils. It looked old, but incredibly well kept, and you couldn't read a word of it. You flicked to the front, and in the bottom corner of the page was a single word, or in this case, a name. Marigold. Is this Aunt Sylvia's? Just what is going on around here? Ghosts and knights, sure, but people around here are different. Does that mean she was too? It did not make sense to you. It did make sense to you, kind of. Your aunt was a little strange, in a curious way. Okay, Mr. Book, I'm going to leave you here, but I'll come back to you later tonight, I promise. There's no need to follow me around the store, alright? I've got work to do, but trust me, you and I have a date tonight, alright? Don't go anywhere. You set the leather-bound book carefully on your desk, taking note of exactly where you leave it. All you wanted to do at that moment was find answers, but instead you turned to your door. There was work to be done, inventory needed sorting, bills needed to be paid, and customers waited to spend some of their hard-earned money. And talk to you, apparently, since that's what your aunt did, helped people. Okay. Check how Florian is feeling. It's a sunny day today. Woot. Man the counter, clean the store, sort through storage. Let's man the counter in the morning. And then, yeah, we need to clean the store today. Okay. Normal is 5 to 37, so 32, so 16, so we'll keep that at 15. 25, so technically it would be 12.5, so we can do 10. I don't... How about we change this to 20? And this to 15. You get seated behind the counter, ready for today's customers. The bells chime, and a customer comes inside. Ah, lovely day for a bit of shopping, don't you think? Welcome! Vintage stuff funny. Vintage stuff is quite interesting, Your price, quality, normal, paid, 0. Would you grant me the honor of parting with this treasure for $8? I mean, my price is only 10, so... How about we haggle a bit? Counter offer. How about 9? Consider it sold. My heart is lighter already. Okay, probably not haunted. What do you mean? Until next time, may your day be seasoned with joy. See you next time. The customer leaves the store. You saw one customer today, but no one else is coming now. You had just stepped away from the counter to grab lunch when the door opened and Florian came waltzing in, covered once again with his sunglasses and bucket hat. Florian! Hey. How are you feeling? Did you get some sleep? The deep bag set under his eyes didn't look very promising. I'm fine. Enough to work. Well, if you say so, but you should think about going to see a doctor or something if it continues. Didn't I tell you to stop worrying about me? Yeah, but no one said I had to listen. Good day, Sir Florian. Pray, forgive my intrusion, but might I inquire about this peculiar contraption you have hanging from your pocket? I have never seen its like before. Lucille stepped over from the side of the store, helmet under arms, gestured towards a pair of headphones connected to Florian's phone, which was half hanging out of his pocket. It's a pair of headphones. Headphones? A peculiar name. I have heard of a phone, owing to Lady Sylvie, but not of these headphones. They're tiny mini headphones. They're tiny mini phones that you put into your ears, and they put the screen on your brain. Winnie popped up from out of nowhere, grinning at Lucille. Is that so? What? No, she's bullshitting you. They're just little speakers. You have to be careful, or the tiny phones will invade your ears to take over your mind. That is quite terrifying, Lady Winona. I believe I will keep my distance from these headphones. I'm telling you, she's lying. Look, you listen to music through them. Florian held the headphones out to Lucille, who raised a hand. My warmest thanks, but I believe it best to let my ears remain free of such intrusions. Why do you never listen to me? She's playing a trick on you. I do not believe Lady Winona would lead me astray. And I would? My fucking mouse won't move. What the shit? Okay, there we go. They're really just for listening to music. When he's messing with you, really, they're just for listening to music. You might like them. Thank you, Caress, but if that is truly the case, there is plenty of music to hear without using technology I do not understand. The singing of birds, the rustling of leaves, I believe I will make do for now. Man, I'm too tired for this shit. Perhaps a caffeinated beverage would be of assistance, Sir Florian. I shall go fetch you one, Caress? How about a hot chocolate? That will be no problem. Lady Winona, I apologize that I cannot offer you a beverage too. It's okay, Lucy. I'll just enjoy it from afar. You really don't need to. I shall be back post-haste. At that, Lucy left out the front door, springing her step. I'm gonna go keep practicing. Bye-bye, Lazy Bones. When he floated back up and through the ceiling, you weren't sure you'd ever get used to that. Seriously though, are you doing alright? It's just some personal shit. It has nothing to do with work. Alright, but don't overwork yourself too much, yeah? Actually, I'm glad we have a second alone. I wanted to talk to you. Why? I guess you're kind of the person I know best in town. Why? I'm not the kind of person that people confide in. I disagree, you're really easy to talk to. What is it? I found something. Congratulations, would you prefer a ribbon or a medal? Is both an option? No. Damn, you got me all excited for no reason. But seriously, it was... I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a tornado in my room. Right, a tornado in your room. I'm so tired. You're not taking me seriously right now. No shit. You're telling me there was a tornado in your room. Okay, listen. Not a tornado exactly, but a lot of wind and leaves, and they were swirling around me. Uh-huh. And they led me to a book I can't read, but that doesn't matter right now. As soon as I touched it, it all disappeared. What's going on here? Are you an idiot or something? Whoa, where's that coming from? And yeah, probably. I told you, this town is full of all kinds of people. That includes your aunt. There's probably a reason she wanted you to come take over. She always has her reasons, she just never actually tells anyone about them. I think she gets off on leaving people confused. It's just... A week ago, if you told me that ghosts and time-traveling nights and magic books existed, I would call you crazy. Now I'm just meant to accept all of that? I don't know, you're doing a pretty good job of it. Am I? Do you like Winnie and Lucille? Of course, they're both great. So who cares if they're a little different? And what about me? Maybe you're just a little different too. Does it matter? Well, no, but it's just kind of tossing everything I thought I knew to the wind. Yeah, well, that's life. One day you're a normal person doing normal shit, and the next everything's turned upside down without your permission. Speaking from experience there, I don't know what you're talking about. If you say so. Anyway, thanks, Florian. I guess I just need to be open-minded. I mean, I just can't not believe any of it's true, seeing as the evidence is right in front of my eyes. Can't wish away fighting off a tornado in your bedroom. It wasn't like that. My apologies for the wait, my friends. Wait, what? You were gone for all of 5 minutes. Midday jog? A midday jog helps me clear my mind. Please enjoy. She placed down a small tray on the counter with 3 drinks carefully tucked into it. You quickly took yours, glad for it, and Lucille picked something floral smelling. What you got there? The shopkeep called it a white berry forest tea. I will admit, I have not yet tried such a thing, but I tend to keep away from coffee. I said you didn't have to get me anything. It would be unbecoming of a knight to offer a drink to Caress and not to you, Sir Florian, please. I'm not thirsty. Truly? Then I apologize. I did not mean to make you uncomfortable. It's not... Ugh. With a grumble, Florian picked up his drink. It smelled like strong, dark, rich coffee. There, are you happy now? I've got work to do. With that, he took off, coffee in hand. Is he always so pleasant? If by pleasant you mean acts as if some knave had defiled his morning rule, then yes, Sir Florian has been rather somber from the moment we met, some months ago now. Well, I guess even Grumpy is charming in its own way. I'm sure he has his reasons. That is true. If I were to speak my mind, I would say he holds little belief in himself. Unfortunately, though, I do not know the circumstances that have led him to think like that. Regardless, under his solemn exterior, he's full of kindness. I don't know which one to pick. God damn it! I need to stop yawning. Oh, damn. Anyway. Yeah, he is. So are you, and Winnie, Vivi, and Quinn too. Everyone's been really nice to me ever since I got here. Even Emmett, kinda. Now that is enough idle rest. I must take my watch and secure the perimeter of this establishment. Wait, you've barely had a break, and you were running an errand. Though my respite was brief, the call of duty is constant. I would not delay in safeguarding you and the store. Lucille bowed low to you before leaving out the front door once again. Well, back to work, I guess. Hey, Chris! If it isn't the amazing Winnie. Adding a new nickname to the collection? I'm working on my compliments. Let me know how it went, won't you? Well, I'd say an 8 out of 10. I think you can do even better. How about Winnie the incredible, gorgeous, talented, lovely, wonderful ghost girl who is a joy to have around the shop? That's more like it. She practically bounced in place, grinning brightly. Hey, what are you up to anyway? Want to hang out? That sounds way more fun than sweeping, but dust doesn't go away on its own. Cleaning is so boring. Okay. Oh, I know. How about I help? After just complaining about how boring it is? It'll be less boring if we do it together, don't you think? Can you even hold a broom? No, but I could do spooky ghost stuff, and so I'm sure I could blow the dust into a neat little pile or something. Huh, that actually sounds pretty useful. Ooh, you know what would be fun? How about we make a little bet? A bet about who can do the most cleaning. How are we going to judge that? The judging part isn't important. I'd say in a competition the judging part is incredibly important, but who am I to argue with the competition queen? Fine, you're on. I had to move my setup a little bit because everything's getting in my way and it's getting annoying, and it's so fun. Everything is falling out of anything. Oh no. Try to out-clean Winnie. Can we get a high roll? Can we get a high roll? Ooh, 6. Whew, I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my life. It was 45 minutes later when the two of you took a break, collapsing onto the front counter with Barone. Wait, can you even get tired? Oh yeah, I forgot. And here I was feeling guilty for making you clean. You didn't make me do anything, I offered, and I had fun, Who do you think won? I'm not sure I can tell. We both did. I mean, the shop looks amazing, and that's the most important part, right? I can't argue with that. Well, I better get back to it. Have a good day, Winnie. Don't push yourself too hard, okay? She gave you a bright smile and then despaired. Store cleanliness increased. By how much? Full. Another talent point. Oh, we're so close. It's a little past 5 p.m. and you're sweeping a few stray leaves from the floor when the door is pushed open once again. And then 5 more leaves join you, awaiting their inevitable sweeping. Greetings, Sir Emmett. You have arrived at a most fortuitous time. Sir Florian and I were just debating over whether Courage would neglect to pay the bills or not this week. You're not supposed to tell anyone that. It was just between us. Do I look that forgetful? Do you want me to answer that honestly? Now I'm not so sure. Emmett adjusted his glasses, pushing them up from the counter with his center with his fingertips. No bills will go unpaid while I am still contracted. What's that supposed to mean? Everything would fall apart if I fired you? I didn't say that, but you're free to assume what you will. Careful, if you speak to me so nicely, people will think you actually enjoy my company. My apologies, we wouldn't want that now, would we? Now, I'll set up my computer at the counter and we can go through your books together. I did bring my own laptop if that makes things easier. It would stop me having to come and assist you every week. Yes, Miss Marigold never did have any interest in technology. Aw, I miss hanging out with you. Perish the thought. I would be happy to show you how to digitize your archiving yourself, and then there would be no need for me to come here every week. You would save money and I would save time. That sounds like a win-win to me from business owner to business owner. But that, what, blah, 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 blah. The fucking stutter. But what about your wonderful company? It would be used on another client, I assure you. Fine, it's upstairs. Should I bring it down? Upstairs is adequate. A quieter location might be a good idea. Emmett looked sideways to where Florian and Winnie were currently discussing a new movie that had just been released, and then towards Lucille, who was sharpening her sword. Probably a good idea. The two of you headed upstairs and into your apartment. Home sweet home. Can I get you anything something to drink? A coffee would be fantastic, thank you. You crouched down to look in the back of your aunt's cupboard. There were around a few dozen different kinds of tea in beautiful little embossed tins with handwritten labels. Your aunt's handwriting? It sure looked like it. Pushing those aside, you found what looked like a 20-year-old container of instant coffee. Fair warning, I think this coffee is older than I am. Would you expect anything less from the owner of an antique store? Touché, I'm just saying, if you get poisoned, please don't sue me. All I have to pay you with is buttons and a pocket lint. I can't say a client has tried to pay me with pocket lint before, but I've been known to accept buttons on occasion. You peered up at him. He'd sat down at your kitchen table at some point, scrutinizing his face. Seriously? No, why would I accept buttons? It was a joke. Wow, it's actually kind of impressive how you can keep a completely straight face while joking. It's called autism. I thought maybe you worked with a button factory. I do, but they pay me by direct deposit. You do? No, there's no button factories anywhere near Willowmist. Alright, wise guy, how am I meant to know when you're joking, huh? You stood up, quickly pouring both Emmett and yourself a cup of the perhaps kind of out-of-date instant coffee. Here's hoping it's still drinkable. You handed him the cup and placed your own down at the spot beside his, then collected your laptop, which was still open to Winnie's idle page. Fan of idols? No, I guess kinda. This is actually for Winnie. You can see Winnie, right? Just double checking that she's not some elaborate prank. Yes, I know her offhandedly. And she's see-through, right? As far as I'm aware, Miss Winona is a ghost. You don't sound awfully concerned by that. There are scarier things in life than ghosts. Like? Audits. Wow, that ought to come with a warning. You're making me shiver. Putting aside the non-work talk, please navigate to this website and download this software. I will give you a license to use it under my business. Emmett pulled out his own laptop and showed you the download page for some piece of accounting software, which you probably downloaded. Have you ever used a program like this before? What if I said I had? I would inquire whether you were lying or not. Okay, I haven't, really. I'm new to all of this. Any guidance you can give is appreciated. Not to worry, it's rather beginner-friendly, and your aunt's business is quite simple. It's all cash in and cash out. I would suggest continuing to use the book downstairs for keeping track of sales, as Miss Marigold will find it more comfortable when she returns, but once a week you can copy the numbers in here. He leaned over slightly, pointing towards the screen. Miss Marigold chooses to pay off her bills weekly. I'd suggested monthly or every 2 weeks, but she was adamant about it. These bills will cover water, power, and the usual. Payment for your employees is already paid directly out of your aunt's account, so there's no need to worry about that. That saves me a bit of effort. Just make sure to put some time aside every weekend for paying bills. Got it, my weekends are about to go crazy. So I just click here and find my bills? No, over here. He leant over again, and you couldn't help but notice the scent of his cologne. It was almost floral. In fact, if you had to pinpoint the way it smelled, maybe sparkly? Distracted, your hand brushed against his, and for a split second time seemed to pause. Emmett quickly pulled his hand back and cleared his throat, before continuing on like nothing happened. Yes, just there. Click on this tab, and it will show you an overview of your pending payments for the week. Right, I got it. Thanks, Emmett. From here on out, it should be straightforward. However, since it's your first time, I'll stick around and assist you with filling in some sales data from the book downstairs. Really? That's awfully kind of you. At that, he let out a rare laugh. I'm paid by the hour, Perez. I wouldn't call it kindness. Oh, I see. Looking to fill up your bank account, huh? That's the point of running a business, yes. I appreciate the help nonetheless, even if it comes from a selfish place. Want another coffee before we start, Numbers Boy? Numbers Boy? You like numbers, don't you? Yes, I suppose so. And no, one of those coffees was enough to last me a lifetime, thank you. If I never have to drink another, it would still be too soon. I'll go grab the book then. Feel free to make yourself comfortable. I cannot read. You headed back downstairs and spent the next several hours going through the handwritten records your aunt left, plus your recent additions. Fortunately, just as Emmett said, it was a rather simple task, just very time-consuming. And done. Well, that was fun. It was, yes. Okay, now, I'm the one who was joking. I think I'll leave all the numbers to you. That much is obvious. I had to stop you from entering the wrong amount at least a dozen times. Hey, I'm learning. Does that mean if this doesn't work out, I won't be getting an apprenticeship at your accounting firm? Spend a few more years... Spend a few more years studying, and then maybe you'll have a chance. At an interview. Wow, that's the point of knowing anyone. Wow, what's the point of knowing anyone if you can't even get a job through nepotism? I believe that a friendship is required for nepotism to work. Are you saying you don't want to be my friend? Even though I am so effortlessly charming, witty, and funny. I do not have time for friendships, makes Marigold, so I appreciate, but a nepotistic position at my company is not likely. That's not how it seemed when I bumped into you the other night. What do you mean? At the Silver Oak. You were there? Am I that forgettable? You were sitting a few tables away from me. Lucille and I were leaving when you told me I was doing a great job with the store and you wanted to see me again. And then you asked me out to dinner. I believe you're confusing me with someone else. Nope, it was definitely you. Lucille saw you too. So, that's a no to hanging out? It's late. I believe that our time is up. I will bill Miss Marigold directly for our session. He stood hastily, and the sound of wood scraping against wood echoed through the small town as he threw back his chair and began quickly putting all of his papers and laptop back in his briefcase. Then maybe we could... I should really be on my way. Good night, Caress. Don't forget to brush your teeth tonight. Brush my... In a hurry, Emmett rushed out the door and down the stairs, leaving you staring at the empty spot where he'd just been a moment ago. Don't forget to brush my teeth. What is he, my mother? Wait, what's that? A folded up piece of paper remained on the table. You unfolded it to see a letter addressed to Emmett. Resisting the urge to snoop, you instead folded it back up and found your hands covered in sparkles. What the? You brushed them off on your shirt, then touched the paper again. Once again, covered in sparkles, despite the paper looking crisp and white. Emmett will probably want this. Taking the letter in hand, you dashed downstairs. Where did he go? A13. You dug through your pocket and pulled out the business card Emmett had given to you a few days prior. Flipping it over, you found an address listed and quickly inputted it in your phone. There you are. Hopefully you live near your office. You set off on foot, walking through the darkened town. It was a clear night and the sky was full of more stars than you could count. It was certainly different to back home. You were walking like this in search of Emmett, but slightly distracted by the sight above when you heard a meow? Then another, and another. Where's that coming from? Following the noise, you turned into a side street and saw a group of kittens huddled together and surrounding a certain man. Don't worry. Oh my god, do the voice. Don't worry, I brought you food, so there's no need to get violent. There, eat. Emma was crouched low on the ground, holding out a small white plate bordered with yellow ducks for a group of tiny cats. As the kittens meowed and ate, he stroked them gently, smiling. His normally serious face had been replaced by a softer expression. Well, I wasn't expecting you to find... Well, I wasn't expecting to find my favorite numbers boy feeding strays. Ah. What are you doing here? As he spoke, his voice cracked and the kittens scattered, leaving the two of you alone in the dim moonlight. Maybe I enjoyed your company so much I didn't want it to end yet? You what? Is that so unlikely? You've known me for a handful of days and all we've done is talk business. Maybe I just like listening to you talk. He looked at you incredulously, as if trying to gauge if you were joking or not. Okay, I do like you, Emmett, but I found you for a reason. You left something at the store and I wanted to return it. Really, here. Sorry for spooking you. You held the letter out to him and he finally stood up from his crouched position, dusting dusting the dust off his pants. Dusting dirt off his pants, he reached out and took the letter carefully as if not to tear it. Did you read it? I'm not as nosy as I look. No, I didn't read it, I promise. Well. Emmett cleared his throat and adjusted his tie before tucking the letter away inside his jacket. I apologize for my prior rudeness. This was highly unprofessional of me. I'm not expecting you to be professional outside of our work hours. In fact, I think you could probably loosen up that tie a little, even during business. Do you like cats? I suppose you could say that. That's not a yes or a no. They're small and cute. Am I small and cute? Do I count as small and cute too? Are you a cat? Do I need to be a cat? I can meow if you like. You have no sense of humor, do you? I'm joking, Emmett. You don't have to take everything so seriously. He let out a sigh and shook his head. You're an overwhelming person, you know that. We hardly know each other, and now you're trying to meow at me in an alleyway. Okay, when you put it like that, I sound like a weirdo. If the shoe fits, then what can I say? Maybe you just needed someone to help you let loose a little. That could be me, if you'd like. What exactly do you want from me? I just want to get to know you. I can't do that if you're always running away. Overwhelming and persistent. It's part of my charm. Thank you for returning my letter, Mix Marigold, but it's late and I really should be getting home now. You should too. Then how about letting me walk you home? There's no need for that. It is hardly a 10-minute walk from here. I know there's probably no need, but can I do it anyway? At that he sighed and dropped his shoulders drooped. Fine, if it makes you happy. That doesn't mean I consider us friends. The two of you started walking through the dark streets. There was a cool breeze and you pulled your clothes tighter around yourself. How about close acquaintances? We can start there. Great, you won't regret it. You smiled brightly and Emmett looked at you out of the corner of his eye. So, my close acquaintance, am I allowed to ask you something? If I asked you not to talk to me, you wouldn't do it, would you? I don't talk that much, do I? Emmett remained silent. Wow, ouch. Okay, I can't tell if you're joking or not. That's kind of terrifying. But okay, going back to the topic at hand. What was with you the other night? Seriously, I don't think I'm going crazy. I definitely saw you there. I was afraid you'd ask that. Fine, I'll tell you, but this will stay between us. My lips are sealed. I have a low alcohol tolerance. Huh? The normal, non-supernatural answer stunned you at first, and then you were surprised by your own reaction. Why did you expect it to be something different? Wait, that's really it? Why would I lie to you about that? It's embarrassing enough to admit. I guess it's just so mundane, like compared to a ghost or a time-traveling knight. Oh, what? What does that have to do with anything? Oh, don't worry about it. So, you really were just drunk the other night? Quinn offered me some of his homemade cider, and I felt embarrassed to turn it down. It was only one drink, but that's all it takes. I apologize that you had to see me that way. It was actually kind of adorable seeing you act so nice, sweet, talkative. Adorable? A 31-year-old man is hardly adorable. And yet here you are. How strange. This is why I try to avoid alcohol. How much does it take to get you drunk exactly? Like one sip? Please do not test that. You can't tell me all that and then not follow up with a number, Emmett. What's the fun in that? God, I've already told you too much. Yes, even one sip will do it to me. It's not something I'm proud of. If it helps, I'm not much of a drinker either. That's exactly... What the fuck am I reading? If it helps, I'm not much of a drinker either. That's what the early 20s are for. Now I'm old enough, my bones are creaking. You can't be more than 25. Oh, are you complimenting me, my dear accountant? Trying to get on my good side? Hardly. I'm 26, actually, but you were close. I need a drink. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? You could go. Okay. What are you doing out here in the middle of nowhere at 26? What's this I hear? Someone wants to get to know me? Only one simple curiosity. To tell you the truth then, I have no clue. You have no clue. I was getting a little burnt out working part-time jobs and thought maybe some time away from the city would be good for me. Running the store was just a lucky opportunity. I haven't even seen my aunt since I was a kid. It would be like Miss Marigold to leave a stranger in charge of a business. My nose is so itchy, what the fuck? I love how whenever I stream, everything decides to happen all at once. Like, before I started stream, my fucking room was freezing cold. Now it's not. And, like, haven't had any issues with my nose all day. And then I start stream and it immediately stuffs up and starts getting itchy. Like, what the fuck? I don't think she had much of a choice. My grandparents passed away and my mom, well, they don't talk for some reason. What about you? And you can't weasel... my brain stopped working with English. And you can't weasel out of my invasive questions this time. You asked first. I moved to the town a few years ago. With your business. That came after. I arrived in this town with only the clothes on my back. Well, at least you had some clothes. Messy divorce or something, or are you on the run? Well, at least you had clothes. Imagine turning up here naked. That'd be embarrassing. I doubt I'd be the first person. This town attracts all kinds of people. Like you, my non-nudist friend. You didn't answer my question, by the way. Why did you move here? It's complicated. I needed a new start and I didn't have much else. This town just seemed quiet. I'd have to agree with that. My previous job was quite intensive. I lived within the same building as I worked and rarely had a day off. I didn't really have a life beyond that. When the opportunity presented itself, I took it to leave. Was it counting related? Kind of. Thank you, that's very specific. Emmett suddenly stopped outside a small, 2-story high apartment building. There looked to be a sign hanging over the front. Finch Advisory. What are you, some kind of workaholic? Yes, but I live above my practice. It's just easier. Even if it was greatly unnecessary, thank you for seeing me home. You really didn't have to. Seriously, you didn't. I know I didn't. I just wanted to. You're incredibly strange. Thank you. I did not intend it as a compliment. Well, I'll take it either way. Fuck me. Well, I'll take it that way. Unsurprising. Thank you for returning my letter and the walk. Good night, Miss Marigold. He gave you a curt nod, then walked towards the building, before stopping in his doorway and suddenly fishing around in his briefcase. Just as you were about to turn around and head back to the store, Emma cleared his throat and then walked back over to you, before shoving something into your hand. A small card. You did already give me your business card, but now I have a spare, thanks. I wrote my number on that one. Oh? For emergencies only. Emmett pushed his glasses up before turning around and finally entering the building, leaving you to stand alone in the dark streets. The door closed behind him. Flipping over the card in your hands, you could see both a mobile number and a personal email address scrawled in messy, loose handwriting. This has made more friends now. A click sounded through the empty street as a window was pulled open ever so slightly. No. And then it was shut again. With a smile, you pocketed the card and started on your way back to the store. Yay, we're now at 1 heart. Woo! We have an available skill point. Woo! Okay, what shall we put this one towards? I'm thinking maybe luck. Luck or charm. Let's do luck. The shop floor was quiet when you entered. All the lights had been turned off and only the faint glow from the moon illuminated the store. Florian didn't look to be around. Maybe he was cleaning in the storeroom, or maybe he'd finally accepted he was sick and needed to rest. Likely the former. You stood across the floor, ready to head upstairs. Perez, you have returned. Ah. Jesus, Lucille, what are you doing hiding in the dark? Hiding? A knight does not hide. I was merely keeping guard while waiting for your return. It's late, you should be home. In truth, I did attempt to head home earlier, but the town was too quiet. I feared leaving the store unguarded, so I intended to come check on you. Sir Florian informed me that you had gone out and not returned, and I grew concerned. Ah, right, Emmett left something here, so I had to hunt him down. Thanks for coming to check on me, Lucille, but really, it's way outside your pay grade to have to guard me after hours. This is nothing about pay, Perez. I need no word, only the knowledge that you are safe and well. Thanks, Lucille. I'm totally fine. In fact, we were talking and I walked Emmett home. Not sure how happy he was about the whole thing, but you know, maybe it's the thought that counts. A noble deed, no matter how small, is never wasted. Yeah, I guess that's true. It was kind of fun, too. Lucille placed her helmet on her head, then brushed herself off. Well, if everything is in order, I will take my leave. Do not worry, I will not allow myself to be late tomorrow morn. She bowed low, then started towards the door. Wait, can I walk you home too? Lucille paused for a moment, then turned and walked back over to you, placing her hand on your shoulder. And allow you to see yourself home alone after? Nay, I would not. She shook her head. I have a means to protect myself should brigands set upon me. You do not. It would not be fitting. Do not worry, I will be well. It is not your duty to escort me to and fro. Something, I need no reward, only the knowledge that you are safe and well. Leave the protection to me, Perez. While I live and breathe, I will never allow a hair on your head to be harmed. Fine, but one day I'm going to force you to let me look after you too. That's the deal. She nodded. You are a stubborn one. Very well, a deal it is. Until next time, then. She gave you another nod before heading out the front door and disappearing into the night. The sound of the bells chiming faded as the door closed, and once again the store was plunged into silence. You waited for a minute or two until you heard the sound of her footsteps growing distant, and then locked the front door and started back up the stairs. Your room was much as you left it, cluttered by decades and decades of use. It wasn't quite home yet, but it was a nice change from the dingy apartment you'd called your own for the last few years. You walked over to the kitchen table and closed your laptop. With all the rush of chasing after Emmett, you had forgotten you still had cleaning up to do. With a sigh, you packed up the various papers that still scattered the surface before placing your laptop back on your desk. Wait a second. Where'd the book go? You quickly started searching around your desk, then under it, but it was nowhere in sight. Hey, book, where'd you go? I know I didn't imagine you. No response. With a grumble, you began turning the room upside down and searched for it, under your bed, in the wardrobe, in every cupboard and drawer, but no matter how hard you searched, it seemed to be missing. Finally, exhausted, you sat down at your desk and found it sitting on the surface, as if it had never gone missing in the first place. You're messing with me, aren't you? Still no response, though what would have been more surprising would have been getting a response, really. Alright then, book, play difficult, see if I care. You picked it up and flicked through the pages. It was the same as before, page after page after page of sigils and writings in a script you could not read. One page at a time, you painstakingly searched from high to low for anything you could read. An hour later, you slammed the book down onto your desk, frustrated. Nothing. You wanted me to find you, didn't you? Why are you being so difficult now? At that moment, a cloud drifted lazily by in a star-filled sky outside, and the moon shone through a window, casting a beam of light onto the desk. The light shone on the open book, and as if a switch had been flipped, the entire book began to glow. The brightness burned your eyes, and you covered them, turning away and squeezing your eyelids shut. After a few moments, the glow faded, and when you looked again, the book was still there, sitting on the desk, but something had changed. Where before you saw plain, used leather, you now saw beautiful gilded edges and intricate embossing. I'm stuttering so much. It looked like a piece of art more than a book. but suddenly it snapped closed, as if caught in a strong breeze. "Oh, well, I never," a voice echoed from the book, and slowly it began to float off the table, hovering just a few inches in the air. "First you ignore me for an entire day, as though I were some common dime-a-dozen grimoire, and now you have the gall to paw through my pages with all the delicacy of an ogre cracking walnuts. Appalling. Simply appalling." It let out a long, suffering sigh. "I was created by the finest scribes, imbued with the wisdom of archmages, long since reduced to dust, and this is how I am treated, handled like some sordid cookbook filled with pleasant recipes for root stew and boiled turnips." If a book could glare, you were sure the book was glaring at you at that moment. "Well, have you anything to say for yourself, you crude, home-mangling barbarian?" You're a book. A book? A book! Why, you wretched, foul-mannered... Whoa. No need to get worked up. God, what am I saying to book? How are you talking? "I am far from a book. I am an archive of the ages, a collection of arcane lore, a repository of incantations, a book." "Oh, the sheer depths of your ignorance astound me. One would think even a mind as tragically mundane as yours could grasp such rudimentary concepts. And you must be the so-called wizard or witch or whatever tawdry moniker you humans are calling yourself these days, yes?" "No, I'm just..." "And now you'll drew up all my pages and mutter incantations with all the grace of a toad gargling mud. What a joy. I suppose there's a positive side to this. Soon you'll likely turn yourself into a particularly stupid-looking beetle, and I will no longer have to deal with your ignorance. Though, truth be told, I doubt anyone would notice the difference." What's going on here? "What is going on here is that you are an imbecile and an inconsiderate lout. I have been here patiently awaiting a proper spellcaster for years, only to find myself stuck with some dimwit oaf who doesn't have the common sense not to handle my pages with their sweaty, sticky hands." "Who? What? How are you?" Barnabas? Really? Are we doing this? Are we really playing on Barbados right now? So the peasant finally decides to address me as something other than a measly book. "Congratulations, truly, on the progress. I am Barnabas, the magnificent eternal chronicler of magic most high and the patron saint of arcane perfection, linguistic superiority, and the grossly underappreciated art of the..." Oh man, this is too much. "I am Barnabas, the magnificent eternal chronicler of magic most high and patron saint of arcane perfection, linguistic superiority, and the grossly underappreciated art of proper book handling. Something you sorely lack." "You are talking spellbook." "Oh, certainly. If you wish to diminish my grandeur to the mere status of a talking book, then by all means wallow in your simplistic understanding of the arcane. How someone like you is fit to be my master, I will never understand. The fates truly must despise me." "I'm your master?" "That is how this works. I, the glorious and sublime Barnabas, was created by a powerful magician to assist her in the mastery of her craft. However, when she died, she bound me to her bloodline. Long have I been passed down from generation to generation, waiting to find a master worthy of my knowledge, and somehow, despite all odds, I have ended up in the possession of a clueless thunderhead." "I think you're getting confused. I am not a witch or a wizard or whatever crazy fantasy you've got in that head pages of yours." "Preposterous! Only a magic practitioner could open my pages, even if that magic practitioner is the least adept one to have ever lived." "You know what? I think I'm gonna put you away in a drawer." "Put me away? As though I were some mere object? Oh, the audacity! I will be my guest." At that, you stood, walked across your room, and threw open the top drawer of your dresser. You stuffed him in there with your underwear and slammed it shut. "How dare you! This is an affront to the very notion of my being. I say, let me out. Let me out immediately." "You are a really cold book, aren't you? Just teleport out." "Teleport? I am not a mere parlor trick. I'm an object of arcane beauty, a masterpiece of craftsmanship, and... yeah, you're a really cool talking book." Fine, have it your way. While you languish in your mundaneness, never to know the truth of your potential, I will begin reciting the first 5,000 volumes of the great Encyclopedia Arcana. Too many big words all at once. I hate it. Barnabas began to loudly, obnoxiously recite the contents of a series of books you'd never even heard of, despite your attempts to cover your errors. Finally, unable to take it any longer, you ripped open the drawer, pulled the book out, and placed it back on your desk. Instantly, Barnabas stopped. Alright, enough already. Look, I'm sorry, okay? You're a book. A talking book. It's a little overwhelming. A little overwhelming? Try having someone flick their fingers before flicking through your pages. My bad. The book sighed. Yes, it is very much your bad. Now listen here. Whether you or I like it or not, we are stuck together. I'm yours and you are my master. Barnabas floated up into the air. It is now your duty to continue the line of miracle spellcasters and use the powers I have to offer you to become the most powerful being this town has ever seen. I'm not sure if I want to become some magical overlord. And why not? I was created by a mighty sorceress, and now she is dead. It is your destiny to continue her legacy. Look, I run an antique store. That's kind of what takes up all my time at the moment. Unless you have some spells in there that'll make me super successful and rich. Right, I keep the... Give me the vast... I cannot read. Right, I keep the Give Me Vast Fortune spell right next to the one for turning people into beetles. You're a really sarcastic book, you know. I have to be, considering my current circumstances, and as you're my new master, I'm afraid the sarcasm is likely here to stay. Oh, goody. God, what is happening to my life right now? I'll have you know I was flipping burgers a week ago. A burger flipper? Ugh, no wonder you handled me so roughly. I have spent years and years in the care of some of the most talented wizards and witches in history, and I am handed over to a grease-stained fry cook. Oh, the shame. It's not like I chose you. That makes two of us, then. It's not like I chose you, either. Look, Barnabas, we're not getting anywhere here. Why don't you tell me a little more about yourself? If we get to know each other, maybe we can get along better. Oh, so now you wish to know about me. Excellent. Social grace master. The book cleared its throat. As I told you before, I am the great and magnificent Barnabas, codex to the once magnificent marigold line. Why did my aunt never tell me about you? How should I know? She was always a rather distant woman and left me to grow dusty on the shelves. A true crime. And you've always been a book. Of course, I am the sum of all the magic ever recorded in the Marigold family. Every spell, every enchantment, every bit of knowledge is all kept right here. A dim-witted oaf like you would have no hope of handling all that magic, so I am limited in the knowledge I can give to you. If you wish to learn every spell in my repertoire, then you will need to prove to me through practice and training that you are a worthy recipient. I don't know how much time I'll have for training between keeping the store afloat and dealing with the locals' problems. It is no fault of mine. Perhaps you should have been born with the aptitude to become a magician instead of a manual. Come here. What, and allow you to manhandle me again? Absolutely not. Come on, Barnabas. How am I supposed to practice if I'm not allowed to look at you? Ugh, fine, but do not gare my pages. Else I'll make good on my promise to turn you into a beetle. With a huff, Barnabas floated towards you, hovering in the air. You lifted a hand and carefully took the cover before flipping through the pages. While many of the pages were still written in a way you couldn't understand, some pages at the front seemed to suddenly be legible. Do not think that you have gained my trust by any means. If I had hands, they would have been on my hips, and I would be giving you the sternest of looks. I am allowing you to pursue my pages only because there's a small chance that somewhere within that pea-sized brain there's a shred of talent. Yeah, you don't trust me, I get it. How do I start? Firstly, as you have no experience in the arts whatsoever, I suppose it would be best if you pick one spell to practice. No, actually I should, because, let's be frank, your judgment is clearly full and unreliable. Against my better judgment, I shall alter the contents of my pages to provide a use in your mundane life, as much as that pains me. Barnabas flipped his pages, then seemingly of its own accord started glowing with a bright golden light. With this I have modified the spell Revelatio Obscura. Now, upon successfully casting such spells, your eyes will have an easier time spotting things that are hidden. If the spell fails, it is because you are in fact a worthless and talented excuse for a human and nothing to do with my modifications. So it helps me find things. I can think of a few times that could be useful. Well, yes, if that is all, please put me away somewhere, preferably not near where you keep your filthy undergarments. Wait, you have to teach me how to cast the spell first. Must I? Isn't that your whole point of existence? My point is to hold information, not hold your hand. Figure it out yourself. Fine, but if I accidentally set the store on fire, it's on you. You pulled out the chair at your desk, sat down, and reached out and grabbed Barnabas. Please don't let my pages be burned. It would be terribly inconvenient. I'll try, but no promises. Ignoring him, you started studying this page. I need a drink. This is getting annoying. I can't read. Ignoring him, you started studying the page. It detailed how to cast the spell with various diagrams, drawings, and words. As you read, the letters and images seem to float off the page and into your mind, until finally everything sunk in. You pulled out a notebook and began scribbling sigils left, right, and center. If this was what magic was like, it was going to be a lot easier than you thought. Once satisfied, you put Barnabas back down on the table and pushed the chair back. Time for a little field testing. You placed the notebook down on the ground in front of you and stuck out your hand, and Revelatio Obscura. Nothing happened. Revelatio Obscura. Nothing. With a groan, you tried one more time, waving your arms about wildly. Revelatio Obscura. Utterly hopeless. Shut up, I have this. You are far from having this. Your pronunciation is that of an illiterate stable boy. Try again, slowly this time, if you please. You took a deep breath, feeling the way your lungs filled with air, and focused on the spell. Revelatio Obscura. A lamp in the corner of the room began to flicker on and off, and the hanging plants near the window swayed gently, despite no wind that night. Congratulations, Master. You truly are a master of the craft. The world shall tremble before your might. Hey, it worked. Look at that. I did it. Yes, congratulations on making a lamp flicker. That does mean it worked, right? Yes, this door sits on a magical ley line. There are often side effects to spells cast here. What spell can I learn next? Ha, what spell? The fledgling asked, as if the entire process were so easy. Please, continue to amuse me. What? I cast it, right? You must practice. Even simple spells are fiendishly difficult, and I will not stand idly by while you butcher them with your lack of skill. When you have more experience, perhaps I will teach you another. Perhaps. Okay, geez. I'll continue practicing whenever I need to find something then, huh? Alright? It would be the smartest thing you've done since I've met you. For now, though, I suddenly feel wiped. Yes, well, casting a spell will drain your magic reserves, and until you are more proficient, even the simplest of spells will require significant focus. Well, I'm too tired for this. I'm going to bed. What should I do with you? I am perfectly capable of looking after myself. Are you capable of Are you capable of yapping less while I try to sleep, or do you need to go back in the drawer? Do not even suggest such a thing. Good night, Barney. Barnabas, not Barney. Close enough. You slipped into bed and shut your eyes, waves and waves of tiredness washing over you. As you drifted off, the last thing you heard was the sound of disgruntled book complaining. You have learned a new spell. Searching the attic now has a higher chance of finding items. I am so tired. I think I might be ending stream soon. Saturday. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it now. Me too. Okay. Hope you guys enjoy this one. I am so tired that reading aloud is not working, so I'm going to log off now. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your night, evening, day, morning, or whatever time it may be for you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!
Perfect, I feel I have a curse that nothing I do works. And I know that you've been hurt, but I know we've had it worse, yeah. And I don't wanna fake it any more than I have to. Feeling tortured, I grab you, try to snap us both back to when I felt like I had you. It just feels like a bad mood, but you're turning your back soon. I've been stabbed in the back too. So it's over now, it's over now. There's no way we can work it out, can't work it out. Every word that's coming out your mouth is filled with doubt. I don't have time to figure out what that's about. I don't wanna break you down, but I could feel your emotion, and there's nothing to open. I just think that we're broken. I could feel the erosion, like the coast to the ocean. Every day we're